Hello everyone. Today's topic is myocardial infarction, guided by Dr. Bhushan Bhagat sir. In this video, we will talk about what exactly happens in myocardial infarction, how will we identify, manage, and prevent myocardial infarction, and in the end, we will discuss about their dental applications. Problem-based learning. A patient on the dental chair complains of sudden compressive pain in the chest, which lasts for a few seconds. How should he be treated? A. Nitroglycerine. B. Steroid. C. Dextrose. Or D. Aspirin. The answer to this question is A. Nitroglycerine, as it is a vasodilator which widens the blood vessel so that more blood reaches the heart. Introduction. Most of the medically compromised patients may require dental treatment at some stage of their life. Knowledge regarding the patient's medical condition is of utmost importance in the patient management and care pre and post surgically. The essential steps to be taken are knowledge of medical history of the patient, knowledge of interactions, knowledge of management of medical emergencies. Classification based on physical status. In 1962, the American Society of Anesthesiologists, ASA, adopted the ASA physical classification. This classification identifies the medical risk to a patient undergoing a surgical procedure. The classification is as follows. ASA1 is a patient without systemic disease, that is a normal and healthy person. ASA2 is a patient with mild systemic disease with no functional limitation. ASA3 is a patient with severe systemic disease with functional limitation. ASA4 is a patient with severe systemic disease that is a constant threat to life. ASA5 is a morbid patient not expected to survive 24 hours with or without surgery. ASAE is an emergency operation of any kind. E precedes the ASA number, indicating the patient's physical status. Myocardial infarction or MI causes cellular death due to ischemia as a result of discrepancy in the oxygen demand and supply. Etiology: tobacco smoking, hypertension, drug abuse, obesity, stress, alcohol, age, gender, diabetes, hypolipoproteinemia, family history of ischemic heart disease, chronic kidney disease. Pathophysiology: MI is mainly caused by atherosclerosis, which causes gradual obstruction of the blood vessel, arterial spasm, which causes sudden reversible obstruction, or atherosclerosis, if present with plaque or thrombus formation, which causes the occlusion of the blood vessel. So ultimately, there is reduced oxygen supply to the cardiac muscles, that is ischemia. There is hypoxia, there is reduced oxygen demand, which presents with angina. If thrombolysis is present, then we can say that it is unstable angina. If this progresses, then there is a permanent thrombus formation which compromises the blood flow and causes the necrosis of the myocardial cells, which leads to myocardial infarction. Clinical manifestation: chest pain, dizziness, numbness and pain on the left, shortage of air, nausea and stomach pain, pale skin, fatigue, cold sweat, irregular or slow pulse. Complications: arrhythmia, cardiogenic shock, congestive heart failure, thromboembolism, rupture, cardiac aneurysm, pericarditis. Investigations to be done are chest X-ray, ECG, echocardiogram, stress test, blood investigations like lipid profile, bleeding and clotting time, prothrombin time, and INR in case the patient is on long-term anticoagulants. Now coming to the medications, the drugs used to treat the myocardial infarction patient are beta blockers like propranolol that decrease the likelihood of sudden death and reinfarction in months following the acute MI. Calcium channel blockers like verapamil, which prevent the reinfarction and reduce mortality rate. Antiplatelet agents like aspirin, which reduce the incidence of sudden death and recurrent MI. Anticoagulants like warfarin reduce the incidence of arterial emboli in initial 3 months following the acute MI. ACE inhibitors like captopril prevent the left ventricular dilation and onset of heart failure. Diuretics like hydrochlorothiazide are used in high blood pressure and heart failure patients. Inotropic drugs are used in heart failure, and nitrates like nitroglycerin are used in anginal pain. Management. If there is recent history of cardiac arrest, myocardial infarction, angioplasty, then postpone the treatment for 6 months. Emergency oral surgical procedures within the period of 6 months require hospitalization. Surgery in either of the above cases require clearance from patient's physician, proper history of previous or current medications, prophylactic antibiotics like amoxicillin 3 mg and clindamycin 600 mg with regular dosage for 3 days. Easy availability of nitroglycerin as it is administered 3 times as a prophylactic dose for chest pain. General precautions during dental procedures. Dental clinics should have advanced cardiac life support or at least basic cardiac life support. Use of pulse oximeter to determine the oxygen level. Automatic external defibrillator. Determination of vital signs prior to the dental care. Blood pressure, pulse rate, and rhythm should be recorded and any abnormal findings should be addressed. Pre-medication with anti-anxiety drugs and inhalation nitrous oxide in anxious patients. Elective procedures, especially those requiring general anesthesia, should be avoided for at least 4 weeks after myocardial infarction. Consult patient's physician prior to the dental therapy. Now, coming to the management of dental care, we first of all terminate all the dental treatments and we position the patient in a semi-reclined position. Then we give nitroglycerin, about 0.4 mg tablet or spray. We administer oxygen. We check for pulse and blood pressure. If the discomfort is relieved, then we assume that it was angina pectoris and slowly taper the oxygen over 5 minutes. We modify the treatment to prevent the reoccurrence. And if the discomfort still continues after 3 minutes, then we administer a second dose of nitroglycerin. Now we monitor the vital signs, and if the discomfort is relieved, we resume the treatment. And if there is discomfort even after 3 minutes, then we have to administer the third dose of nitroglycerin. Now we again monitor the vitals. We call for the medical assistance. If the discomfort is relieved, we refer the patient for medical evaluation before the further dental care. If the discomfort is still there after 3 minutes, then we assume that the myocardial infarction is in progress and start the IV line with a dip of crystalloid at 30 ml per hour. If there is severe discomfort, then titrate morphine sulfate 2 mg subcutaneous or intravenous is given every 3 minutes until the relief is obtained. When we transfer the patient to the emergency care and basic life support is administered if necessary. Role of nitroglycerin. It rises the nitric oxide, which causes vasodilatation and increases blood flow to the myocardium. However, continuous delivery of nitroglycerin results in tolerance, limiting the use of this drug. Role of isosorbide. It dilates the blood vessels, making it easier for blood to flow and easier for the heart to pump. Isosorbide dinitrate is used to treat or prevent attacks of anginal chest pain. Only the sublingual tablet should be used to treat an anginal attack that has already begun. Precautions to be taken by a myocardial infarction patient. Stop smoking, lower your cholesterol, control your diabetes and blood pressure, follow an exercise plan, keep a healthy body weight, and control stress. Anticoagulation therapy and dental care. Anticoagulation therapy is used both to treat and to prevent the thromboembolism. There are two major types, antiplatelet medications and antithrombin medications. Acetyl acid, ASA, plus clopidogrel, that is an anticoagulant, is given for 4 weeks after stent implantation. Daily aspirin is typically continued lifelong. If there is need of emergency surgery, then DDAVP is administered within 1 hour of the surgery. Antithrombin medications like warfarin inhibits the biosynthesis of vitamin K dependent anticoagulation proteins. Efficacy is monitored by prothrombin time or the international normalized ratio, that is INR, which is calculated on the basis of International Sensitivity Index, ISI. If the INR ranges from 2 to 3.5, it should be performed within 24 hours of surgery. If the INR is less than 3.5, Anticoagulation therapy should be discontinued before the minor surgical procedures. There are three different protocols that are used to treat the patient with elevated INR. The first protocol is warfarin not discontinued, which minimizes the thromboembolic event and increases the risk of bleeding after the surgery. Second protocol, warfarin is discontinued 2 to 3 days prior to the surgery. So during this period, patient is at risk of developing thromboembolic event but not bleeding. The third protocol is warfarin discontinued and patient is placed on alternative anticoagulant therapy. So here the thromboembolic event is minimized. Thank you.